What is Trump's golden dome? How it might weaponize the skies and how it can be the starting of the space war that Earth never expected. As Washington dreams of the perfect missile shield, the global powers are preparing for the consequences that comes with it. The US might get its skies rescued by the golden dome, but at the same time this very golden dome might push the whole world into a space-based warfare. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to discuss what exactly is this golden dome, why it matters, why it is the point of discussion, and also get into that what are the broader implications that are associated around it. So let us start with understanding that what exactly is golden dome. Golden dome is basically a huge air defense system and an ambitious one. In this, we have a system of systems which basically puts in a whole missile defense system shield in place. When we talk about golden dome, it is nothing but a missile shield. But what separates it from the other missile defense shield, it is the ambitiousness and the high tech that we are aiming to achieve through this. So basically, this is a system of systems in which it is not just intending to ward off the surface-based missiles, but also the intercontinental ballistic missiles, the hypersonic missiles, even the space launch threats are expected to be warded off through this whole system. And this whole system is not going to be just about the ground-based interceptors, it is also going to include thousands of space-based interceptors. And when I am talking about the high tech, we get to see that it will have AI command and control and also multiple surveillance layers to ensure that the protection that US is looking for, it is put there. Now the reason that this has been in news, we will be discussing that. So President Donald Trump put the estimate of this whole ambitious project around $175 billion, but it is expected to go way beyond that, and the timeline is also expected to be somewhere about 2 decades. Now let us understand that what exactly US is trying to create. As I said, they are trying to look for a protection from not just surface-based missiles, but also all sorts of missiles, even if they are coming from threats. So they will be creating a system in which there will be a power play between detectors, interceptors, and also the defense missiles in order to not just detect the air threats but also to destroy them. How it will work? Let's just say there is an incoming threat towards US. In this very situation, detectors will be able to identify it. They will be sending the signals to interceptors, and once the interceptors have the information about the aerial blitz, this is when the signals will be sent to the defense missiles, the missile and laser weapons, which can actually neutralize the incoming threat. Now in this particular huge military air defense system, the whole idea is not just detection but also timely destroyal of the aerial threat. But at the same time, there are multiple technological and also financial limitations that have been highlighted. Now when we are talking about the golden dome itself, first let us start with understanding that why it has become the point of discussion just beyond the financial aspects of it. If golden dome comes into the picture, there are larger conversations that are surrounding it, such as militarization of space. That means space-based threats are becoming more real, and that is when space-based threats defense also needs to be put in place. So if US is putting up that defense, it will also bring in the other global powers into the picture. That is when we get to see that there will be a separate debate on deterrent stability as well as how to manage the defense shield that US is talking about. And then as a consequence, there will be a new arms race that will set in for new hypersonic missiles, the counter space tech, and much more. So basically, this whole idea that US has pitched and has also started working on it, it is illustrating the modern defense economics and the basic fundamental around it, that how much we are spending and what is the feasibility of that cost and what we are trading off for the same. So, we'll come to the conclusion by the end of this discussion. You can also let me know in the comments section. And as we are speaking about Golden Dome, we have heard about an Iron Dome as well, which was recently heard in a warlike situation. Can you tell me in the comment section which country has been known to be associated and been using an Iron Dome? Now moving ahead and peeling the other layers around it, starting with the very dimension that has been in news. The cost debate, that what exactly is the trade-off and why it started. So as per President Donald Trump, the estimate that was given, that was around 175 billion US dollars, and in this particular context, as per the assessment, this will only cover a limited deployment, and it is talking only about existing technology. If you want to take it up, then the expenditure will go up, and this is a politically oriented idea. And across the globe, the independent assessments are telling that the budget might balloon up to 500%, and if we go for further enhanced technology, starting with the space-based interceptors based on the constellation size, that means the coverage that they are giving, that also will matter. So as of now, the space-based interceptors alone are costing more than the budget that has been allocated, and this will also give coverage only up and until North Korea. It is not including China and Russia in the constellation size. That means the space-based interceptors coverage, that is not including Russia or China as of now. USA's main adversaries would not be counted. So that means as of now what US is pitching does not seem realistic, especially on the financial terms. Second thing that we need to consider is the technological feasibility, if this will actually come into the picture. When we are talking about the technological limitations, there are multiple. For example, when we are talking about space-based interceptors, they do not exist yet. So to bring them in, a lot of expenditure on research and development, they have to orbit in harsh conditions, their replacement has to occur every 5 and 7 years, and they need to be extremely precise in kill vehicle maneuverability. Other than that, they also require autonomous target identification. Then we get to see there is hypersonic threat interception. So the hypersonic glide vehicles maneuver unpredictably, and that is why the interception window is very small for them. How this needs to be tackled is still something that is not on the table, technologically feasible. Other than that, when we talk about the interception, that cannot be done only in one particular phase, especially the boost phase interception has multiple issues. That means if one wants to intercept the missile in the boost phase, that must be done in the launch, within the launch time after 2 to 4 minutes. And that is practically impossible till there are no satellites, especially in Russia and China zones. And if one places the satellites in that zone, it will also lead to some sort of geopolitical escalation, which world would not want at this particular time, where there is a lot of chaos already. And furthermore, there are a lot of complexities associated with sensor and tracking, and then there is integration of systems. So technologically also, this Golden Dome as an idea seems off in terms of timeline, in terms of the level of technology that is present as well. And even if this comes in the scenario, it has multiple broader implications, strategic, geopolitical, and also military. So when we are talking about broader implications, the one direct implication that we might get to see is on the strategic stability of the world that is present. For example, when we talk about the mutually assured destruction, especially when we talk about mutually assured destruction, the military doctrine that says that if one country launches the nukes, then the other country will also do the same, and there will be complete annihilation of both of these countries, and it puts a rational leader, a rational country in a situation where they will think before putting on the first strike. So this basically undermines this very important military doctrine that has been in place since the Cold War era. And the presence of a golden dome can easily push rivals to expand their nuclear arsenal, and it further encourages development of military defense technology, be it hypersonic swarms, space-based weapons, and MRIVs. Apart from the strategic stability that can be hampered by the presence of golden dome, we also get to see that it might trigger consequences from other global powers, especially US's own adversaries such as China and Russia, where they will get into counter moves. They will start bringing in decoys, they will start bringing in hypersonic system, they will start bringing MIRVs, so as to ensure there is one sure shot way where they stand up to the mark of the golden dome itself. Other than that, there will be expansion of offensive missile forces, and there will be greater emphasis on ASAT deployment. That means anti-satellite deployment. Countries will be looking into protecting their own satellite as well. And this is where, when we are talking about space-based interceptors, we will also see the potential of orbital first strike systems. That means there can be launches directly from the orbit as well. The first strike can take place, the first nuclear strike can take place from the orbit itself. For example, if we talk about FOBS, that is fractional orbital bombarding system. It is a system which is used to deliver nuclear warheads from space. So such things will be developed from the adversaries and other countries as well in terms of space technology, in terms of defense technology, and all of this will help in gaining momentum for nothing but only the space warfare, because the space based interceptions will become the key point. They will be the wartime targets in emergency times. There will be high probability of the Kessler syndrome like debris escalation. So let me break down this a little bit for you. So when we talk about Kessler syndrome, it is basically a theoretical explanation where we get to understand that if the space debris in Earth's orbit becomes so dense, their collision might lead to a chain reaction. That means if there are so many things in the orbit, then if one thing goes off the track, it will trigger into a chain reaction, and this will be a high probability, because in the coming times, if we are placing satellites, interceptors, detectors, and there is dense packaging in lower Earth orbit, it might lead to that, because many scientists suggest that Kessler syndrome's early stages have already begun because of such huge deployment there. So this is also probability that lies there. And another thing that lies with this is the fact that there will be a direct militarization of the lower Earth orbit, and that means the countries will be not fighting only on the land and the ocean, but now space will be another arena where this will be seen. Now that we have understood the broader implications, let us also look directly into what implications and what things that need to be understood from India's end. So when we are talking about a direct impact of Golden Globe and what it might do to India, so here we have to understand that India does not stand as an adversary to US at all. It is rather has been a strategic partner for a long time now. But in this scenario, there will be a chain reaction which will indirectly impact India. In this very scenario, this chain reaction starting point might be China itself. When China will get into countermeasures and counter deployment, it will affect India's strategic environment also. India would also need to be prepared for that, because greater PLA rocket force investment will be seen in the multiple entry vehicles and hypersonic missiles, and there will be an expected impact especially on India-China deterrence dynamics, which have been very fragile for the longest time. Other than that, there will be a direct impact when we are talking about the strategic technology that will enhance over the time with the development of Golden Dome, and there will be a lot that India can take from there. For example, when we are talking about sensor fusion, hypersonic detection tech, space warfare doctrines, all of this might help India to enhance their own military defense R&D, and this is where we can look for collaboration with US. So there are not only just disadvantages, there would be advantages that we can reap the benefit of, because as of the Golden Dome, this is a situation that is not in India's control. But what happens after it, that needs to be managed. So one part of it, the geopolitical impact needs to be managed, but the technology enhancement, that can be taken up in a better way. Other than that, we might also see an impact at the international level governance, where multiple treaties will be in a concerning place, and that is where India might also get multiple pressures to join the new arms race, the new frameworks, and also make sure that where they stand in terms of the treaties and doctrines that stand in place. Other than that, it will also have an impact on India's missile defense roadmap. Whatever the trajectory that India has decided, this would need to include space-based defense as well. The roadmap might need to be restructured, and this is where India might need to recalibrate its whole framework. Can you tell me in the comment section that what are the concerns that are associated especially with India's missile defense roadmap as of now? Overall, in the end, I would like to conclude by saying that the overall operational of Golden Dome seems unlikely. It would require a lot of breakthroughs and the financial overcoming of financial as well as technological constraints. Yet, we need to be prepared, the global powers need to be prepared, and India most importantly needs to be prepared if it comes through. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.